Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are receiving hair loss, hair breakage, hair shedding, or if you simply just want to thicken your roots or strengthen your hair strands, then coffee is one of the secrets to healthier and stronger hair. I chose ground coffee medium roast because I bought it long ago and I used to add it into my hair care products before I temporarily closed the website down. But coffee is a powerhouse that helps combat breakage and promotes healthier growth from the root. Cinnamon can also reduce excessive shedding and support healthier hair growth. With regular use, cinnamon can also thicken the hair by nourishing the follicles from within. It is rich in antioxidants and nutrients that help strengthen weak strands, making your hair more resilient to break. And by adding cloves with these two ingredients, this will also thicken your hair while giving it more body and shine. By adding all three of these together, they all three work together to become a great combination and a powerhouse for stronger hair strands and making your hair more resilient to breakage. Now, by all of them being very powerful for hair growth, we have to also remember that they can be very drying if not used in the correct way. So to balance out their effects, I add aloe vera juice, rose water, and vegetable glycerin, because those three liquids are a powerhouse trio for healthy, beautiful hair. Aloe vera juice deeply hydrates the scalp, soothes irritation, strengthens weak strands, helping to reduce breakage, while rose water balances the scalp's pH, controls excessive oils, and leaves your hair soft, shiny, and refreshed. Glycerin is a natural humectant, pulling moisture into your hair and locking it in for lasting hydration. And y'all already know how I love my fragrance oil. This is nature's oil spring and summer version of country apple, but y'all, it smells just like the Bath and Body Works country apple. I chose that fragrance because it is pretty strong and I don't have to add a lot in order to mask out the coffee, clove, and cinnamon smell, because you know that each smell alone has a strong aroma. So just imagine when you add all three together. Could I have used essential oils to add as a fragrance at the end? Yes, I could have. And although I do whenever creating some of my DIYs, I just don't all the time like to walk around smelling like herbs, spices, and essential oils. And although they are good essentials for hair growth as well, I don't really need it because these are some pretty strong ingredients that aren't going to hesitate when it comes down to stimulating the blood flow to your scalp. So here I am adding a tablespoon of the ground coffee. And a lot of people are going to ask if it could be ground, instant, or whole coffee bean. And the answer is yes, all three. The coffee alone is pretty strong no matter how it is formed. If you notice that on the front of my bag, it does says medium to dark roast. And although I bought it for hair purposes only, whenever I do drink coffee, I still would like the medium to dark version. Caffeine stimulates blood circulation in your scalp, which means more nutrients reach your hair follicles. And this is a powerhouse all by itself. Even if you wanted to create this DIY with only coffee and then apply it to your scalp, number one, it'll still grow your hair. And number two, it will give your hair that extra boost of strength and volume. So coffee all by itself ain't no joke. You can even make a hair mask with it, leave it on for 30 minutes, and then rinse it off. Cinnamon is a powerhouse itself. It is rich in antioxidants and nutrients that help strengthen weak strands, making your hair more resilient to breakage. It promotes hair growth by increasing blood circulation to the scalp. It delivers nutrients to the follicle, and it also can be created as a hair mask while being left on the hair and then rinsed out afterwards, which will leave your hair more shiny and more manageable. Now, I also use 1 tablespoon of the cinnamon as well for those who are keeping up with measurements. Last but not least, we have the cloves, which I will be adding 1 tablespoon of it as well if I can get this bag open. Now, y'all know that cloves is one of those DIY ingredients that is very potent and very powerful when it comes down to hair growth, and especially for those that are struggling with alopecia. Packed with antioxidants and essential nutrients, cloves help stimulate blood circulation to the scalp, waking up weak or dormant hair follicles. Their natural antifungal and antibacterial properties also keeps the scalp healthy, creating the perfect environment for new growth. So if you are suffering from different forms of alopecia, or if you have simply ripped your edges out, by applying those very tight box braids that y'all know y'all need to stop wearing. And I'm not saying that you should eliminate wearing box braids, but what you should eliminate is those hair braiders that you are continuing to go to that are taking every little bit of your edges and are applying it into that braid. Yeah, you should run from that hair braider that is adding small itty bitty little pieces of your hair to a big large piece of the synthetic or the caniculon hair. Oh, and don't get me started on those frontal wigs. It is time for a lot of you to let the frontals go and just go ahead and join the family of the ones that are wearing the 5x5s. You ain't gotta make these people think that this hair is coming from your scalp by lifting up your sides and showing off that hair from the frontal. What good is that if you can't lift up your sides and show off the hair that's coming from your edges? And I do understand that there are some people that could possibly not be born with any edges at all. I have seen that on a couple of clients from the past when I used to braid hair. Y'all, I did it full time back then, and I seen a lot of stuff that people would do to their hair. And I also seen issues to where a lot of people couldn't help to have, like the thinning of the crown due to blood pressure medication. I seen where the medication have ate those people hair up in the middle section of their head, and when I would tell them, they just simply told me that they have to go back to their doctor and tell them, and then the doctor would prescribe them another medication, I guess that was minor, or I'm not sure what it was, y'all, because I am not a doctor. But from what I've seen, a lot of those medications have a lot of bad side effects. But I also can't just mention that without stating the fact that if your insides are not in order, meaning that if you are not eating healthy, and I'm not saying 100%, because a lot of people's diets can consist of a lot of green foods like spinach, kale, greens, broccoli, kiwi, avocados, and even green teas. If you intake a certain percentage of those on the regular, you still have to have your burgers, fries, but the intake level is not as high as the fruits and vegetables that you are putting on the inside of your body, then I am not the one that will say that your hair won't benefit from the nutrients that you are putting in spite of the other things that you are intaking. But some people's immune systems are weaker and need more of that iron, vitamin A, vitamin C, folate, and vitamin D than the next. I remember when my vitamin D level used to be very low, and it affected my hair first because hair follicles have vitamin D receptors, which are very crucial for the hair growth cycle. And usually you are going to see it at your ends, especially in the back. So if it looks like somebody took a huge bite out the back of your hair, then 9 times out of 10, your vitamin D level is low. And I'm not here to tell you what to do because, like I stated before, I am not a doctor. But I'm just here to tell you what I started taking in order to increase my levels. So I found these gel capsules off of the TikTok shop, and they had got a lot of reviews from them. And it was the vitamin D3 K12 gel capsules that you take at least one a day. Y'all, I kid you not. I started taking those things every day like I lost my mind because I was determined not to continue to go through this issue, which lasted for a very long time before I started taking care of it. And when I finally went to the doctor to get some blood work done, I was told that my vitamin D level was high and that I need to cut back some. Well, that was still something to celebrate from because my level used to be low for a very long time. And I also want to add that all of my other levels were pretty good as well, like my iron, zinc, and magnesium. So back to the ingredients and the materials that I'm using. If you notice that I had a big bag of the 4-ounce clear bottles and the sprayers. And although I try to use new containers every time I create one of these DIY videos, I still can't get rid of all of the inventory that I have left in my office. I have hundreds of 1-ounce, 2-ounce, 4-ounce. I've ran out of the 6 and the 8-ounce clear bottles, in which those are the ones that I need the most. But I just don't want to place another order until until I reopen up my website. I think I've lost count to how long it's been closed by now, but I believe I temporarily closed it sometime at the beginning of this year, and it was due to me deactivating my Facebook page, which was also connected to my Heavenly Hair and Skincare Products business page. And for some reason, that made the out-of-town customers think that my website was closed just because the page was closed down. Y'all, I know I'm making a big mess, but I'm keeping that clip in here, and I'm not going to stop until I get all of it in the container before cleaning this up. I couldn't use a funnel due to the fact that I had to place this stocking cap into this jar. But knowing me and knowing that bowl that I just used, I still was going to make a mess anyways. But just know that I'm not the only creator that's out here making messes and doing it on camera, because it's all about how beneficial these ingredients is to our hair and scalp anyways. Just like y'all can clearly see how I struggle with trying to take those rubber bands off of that stocking cap too. But once pouring the little bit that I had left over from spilling, I just went ahead and squeezed the ingredients, but not so tight to where any of the particles could seep out of the stocking cap. But back to my website. A lot of my sales came from my out-of-town customers, and the handful of local customers who lived here in my hometown and a couple of them on the outskirts held on to their products from 6 to 12 months. And when they would see me in public, they would proudly tell me how great my products is working for their hair, but they still have it. And by the time they will reorder, it would be 6 to 12 months later. And not only that, but the town is very, very small, and a lot of people have the crab in a bucket mentality to where they want to see you doing good, but just not better than them. And by it being small, they will put you in a competition bracket. And I know this for a fact because a girl who I grew up with started selling hair growth oil as well. And a lot of my hair clients complained about how her oil was not powerful, not potent, not accurate, and not growing many people's hair. She only knew about tea tree, peppermint, rosemary, and sunflower oil. And at that time, she hadn't dived deep into the Ayurvedic herbs. But the same people that complained about the lack of growth is the same people that made sure that they bought her oil on a regular basis. I mean, y'all, the town is so small to where some people even said that, well, I'll support both. And back then, I remember one of my clients telling me that they asked someone, well, how are you going to know which one grows your hair if you are supporting and using both of their hair growth oil? But I'm going to be honest and say that it did take me a while to realize that I'm simply just not for the people that live here around me. And that is why I brought these DIYs to my YouTube platform. Because unlike the people from my hometown that actually started out sending me before and after pictures of their hair growing from ear length to chin length, of their bald spots filling in, their kids' hair growing, their locks growing, and of their men's beards filling in. Somehow they fell off, and then I started having to beg to get those pictures. And once I started begging, that is when I started receiving anything. If the person had an issue on the left side of their head, they would send a before pic of the left side and then an after picture of the left, a before of the front and an after of the back. Most of them would say that they simply forgot, and some would say that they hate showing their face. And no matter how many times I told them that I will cover their face, or they can even do it themselves, the pictures became lesser and lesser. And if anybody knows that a successful business runs off of the reviews and the photos, because people really want to know, does this stuff actually work? And I don't blame them. You even have people that fall in my comment section. Although I am teaching people how to do these DIYs, there's still a couple of people that ask, have anybody else tried it? And that's why I brought it to my YouTube platform to show you all that it actually works. But remember that consistency is key. If you create this DIY today and you put it in the refrigerator without adding a preservative, then you are going to have to discard it after 5 to 7 days. Now, I will say that I did have a person that left a comment saying that they end up not discarding theirs and they continue to use it. Now, that's totally up to you. you can do whatever you want to do. But maybe she was talking about a particular ingredient. I have so many DIYs put up, I don't remember which one she commented under. But what I do know is that if you are drinking coffee and you leave it out and decide to come back and drink it the next couple of days, then that coffee is going to be spoiled. So getting a preservative would be your best bet. But back to the ingredients. Once I got done adding my liquid moisturizers and liquid conditioners to my concoction, I decided to add a little scoop of the MSM powder, which is a sulfur compound known for its anti-inflammatory effect, which also promotes hair growth by contributing to the production of keratin, a protein essential for hair structure, and potentially by reducing inflammation that can hinder hair follicles' functions. And it also increases hair strength and shine. Now, this is the preservative that I always use in all of my videos, which is the Germaben II, which is used to inhibit microbial yeast and mold growth in cosmetics and other personal products. I used to use Optifin Plus, and it's a pretty good preservative to use as well. But I started using the Germaben because of the website that I was ordering my other materials off of. And I got it, I liked it, and I've been using it ever since. So I used 1/4 teaspoon, and I tried to scrape every bit of that preservative out of there. I don't believe in leaving nothing behind. And I also used 2 1/4 teaspoons of the Country Apple fragrance oil. Remember I was saying earlier how the coffee, the clove, and the cinnamon can have a strong smell. I mean, you can smell them a mile away. Well, if you don't want to smell like those different ingredients, then using a strong fragrance will mask that smell. Trust me, I've been doing this for so many years. And if you use a fragrance that doesn't have a weak smell, then I promise you, people will not be able to tell what you have in your hair. But then again, if you are scared and you just don't want to take my word, then you can always rinse this out. Or if you simply just don't have a fragrance oil and you don't want to buy it, then leave it in for about 30 minutes and simply just shampoo your hair afterwards. I'm just going to do the opposite because I always do the opposite. I purposely installed this protective style just so I can apply this to my scalp every day. And I added that preservative just so it won't go rancid. And I added that strong fragrance oil just so people would not be able to smell it, because I do have hair goals and I've been creating and applying these DIYs since 2018, and it took me 5 years the first time to grow my hair to waist length, and I'll be darned if it take me another 5 years. I'm not playing with it this time. The purpose of creating these DIYs and applying them to my scalp on a religious/consistent basis is to keep my hair in the anagen phase a little while longer. And instead of getting that 1/2 of an inch of growth that my hair is only promised to give me without applying anything to my scalp, then by applying these potent DIYs, it's going to give me an inch and a half, or even 2 inches of hair growth in that 1 month cycle. You have a lot of people that has done the big chop 5 years ago, and 5 years later they are still stuck at ear length. And it is not because their hair is not growing, because it is, but it is because of how they take care of their hair or how they do not take care of their hair. So within a year time frame, if you was to big chop in January, by the end of December, you should at least have 6 inches of hair growth. By year 2, it should somewhere be around 12. Now, I do know that we all go through ups and downs and even some traumatic issues when it comes down to our hair journey. You know, like how the licensed stylist ripped one of my locks out, causing me to have to comb all of my locks out, which not only left me with a huge bald spot at the back of my head, but also a lot of breakage and a lot of tearing due to me combing the locks out. So your girl hair was chopped and screwed up. But what you didn't do is catch me big chopping again, because I wanted to prove how you can apply DIY hair growth ingredients to your scalp while applying it on a consistent basis, while protecting your ends. Can make people think after coming along on your journey a little bit later, you'll have people thinking that your hair didn't go through any of that suffering, because every time you would receive 1 or 2 inches of new growth. You will continuously cut off more and more of the damaged end until your hair finally gets back to its healthy state. before I end this video, let me just add, hair growth is love, patience, and consistency, but you are flushing all of that down the toilet when you allow certain stylists to improperly mistreat your hair. Can't nobody take care of your hair better than you can, and can't nobody grow your hair as fast as you can. Y'all, I've had so many beauty salon horror stories, and I know that a lot of y'all can't relate to me, but just know that I'm not here trying to bash any stylist, but I simply just want them to do right by other people's hair. But don't wait on the ones that actually get paid to care for your hair, but simply just start taking care of it yourself